Good afternoon, I'm Ivy Reyes. Today on Newsfeed Weekend. U.S. strikes Iranian nuclear sites. Israel's Netanyahu praises Trump's move, calling it historic. Iran counters with suicide drones. Motorists, brace yourselves as a huge oil price hike is expected this week. And PBBM meets with Filipinos in Osaka ahead of World Expo 2025. The United States has struck 3 of Iran's main nuclear sites in what President Donald Trump calls a very successful attack. Trump confirmed that the Fordo facility, long considered the centerpiece of Iran's nuclear program, has been destroyed. 6 bunker buster bombs and 30 Tomahawk missiles were used in the operation, targeting Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. The strikes were carried out with U.S. B-2 bombers, with all planes reportedly returning safely. This move marks a major escalation as the U.S. joins Israel's military campaign against Iran. Both countries have been engaged in more than a week of intense missile strike trades. Iran officials confirmed parts of the Fordo site were damaged. According to state media, over 400 people have been killed and thousands injured since the start of the conflict. In Israel, 24 civilians have been killed by Iranian missile strikes, with over 1,000 others injured. The White House says the strikes were limited and that the U.S. is not pursuing regime change, but noted that Iran must now agree to end this war. Trump is expected to address the nation later tonight. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has praised U.S. President Donald Trump for ordering airstrikes in Iran's nuclear sites, calling it a bold decision that will change history. Netanyahu said Trump took action to stop what he called the world's most dangerous regime from getting nuclear weapons. Israeli media reported that the strikes were carried out in full coordination with Israel. Trump and Netanyahu also spoke following the attack. The strikes come amid an ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran, which has left hundreds dead and thousands injured over the past week. Israel says its military actions are meant to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, a claim Iran denies. Despite diplomatic efforts to halt the escalation, Israeli forces carried out another wave of strikes in southwestern Iran earlier today. Meanwhile, some U.S. lawmakers are questioning whether Trump needed congressional approval before launching the attack. Meanwhile, earlier today, Iran's Revolutionary Guards announced the launch of a new wave of suicide drones targeting Israel. A spokesman for the Guards said a vast wave of drones has been heading towards strategic targets across Israel, from the north to the south, for several hours. The Iranian state television aired the statement saying the attack is part of the continued operations against what they call the occupied territories. The drone strikes mark the latest escalation as fighting between Israel and Iran enter its 10th day with no signs of the escalation. The ripple effects of the escalating Israel-Iran conflict are now being felt here at home, as local fuel prices are set to jump by more than 5 pesos per liter this week. Industry players cite global oil market volatility and growing tensions in the Middle East as driving factors behind the hike, which takes effect Tuesday. Jetty Petroleum projects a 4.90 to 5.10 peso increase per liter for diesel and 3.20 to 3.40 pesos per liter for gasoline. The Department of Energy is meeting with fuel companies on Monday to discuss measures to ease the impact on consumers. This includes the possibility of staggered implementation, promos, and discount programs. According to the DOE, a major oil price shock is looming as the ongoing military exchanges between Israel and Iran threaten global supply routes, particularly through the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping lane for global crude oil. While shipping remains uninterrupted for now, fears of escalation have already pushed Brent crude oil prices up from $69 to $74 per barrel in a single day last week. Jetty officials say future price movements will depend on whether supply from the region is actually disrupted, especially if the United States decides to intervene further in the conflict. President Bongbong Marcos reaffirmed the strong and growing ties between the Philippines and Japan as he met with members of the Filipino community in Osaka. In his speech in Swiss Hotel, PBBM highlighted the significance of the 70th anniversary of Philippine-Japan diplomatic relations. He underscores the role of overseas Filipinos, especially the youth, in maintaining and deepening these ties.
We have every chance through you to build even stronger connections and shared values for a mutually stable, secure, and prosperous relationship between our two countries.
The President urged Filipinos in Japan to fully embrace their Filipino identity and to continue contributing to national unity and progress. He also laid out initiatives designed to support overseas Filipinos, including the establishment of OFW lounges in airports and efforts to form bilateral labor agreements that protect the rights and welfare of migrant workers.
Sinusuguro po natin na ang ating gobyerno ay may sapat na pagkakataon na naghihintay para sa lahat ng OFW na nais umuwi at tuluyan ng manirahan sa Pilipinas.
President Marcos closed his remarks by honoring the sacrifices of Filipinos working abroad, reiterating that they are at the heart of his administration's efforts. The president's visit to Osaka is also part of the country's preparations for the World Expo 2025, where the Philippines is set to showcase its culture, innovation, and global contributions. And those are the news this hour. I'm Ivy Reyes. Stay tuned with Billionaire News Channel. Good afternoon.